Hello everyone, today I'll be reviewing Ace in the Hole. So Ace in the Hole came out in 1951 and was directed by Billy Wilder, and this film stars Kirk Douglas as a newspaper reporter. So Kirk Douglas's character is called Chuck Tatum, and he finds out about this story of a man in New Mexico who is trapped down in this underground cave because the man was trying to find some Indian treasure, and eventually all these rocks came tumbling down and essentially trapping him inside the cave. While he is still alive, he is slightly injured and needs to be rescued out of this cave. So Chuck Tatum, he goes to this location and he goes down there to see the man called Leo who is trapped, to essentially cover the story of what is happening. So he takes his camera down there, he takes a photo of him, and he says to Leo, yeah, we're gonna get you out of here eventually. And then Chuck goes back outside and he talks to the construction guys and the sheriff as well, and what he does is essentially try to prolong the rescue effort slightly by convincing the construction workers to dig down into the cliff to get Leo out of here, which actually will end up taking a few days when they actually could do it a slightly different way. And the reason for this is that Chuck wants to make this big story his own. He wants to be on the front page of the newspaper for as long as possible. And essentially, Chuck is a character that doesn't really care about anybody else except for himself. He doesn't particularly care about Leo. He just wants this story. He wants to be big. He wants to get the story in the newspaper, and he wants to prolong the rescue effort so that he can be in the limelight. So what ends up happening is that Chuck also talks to the sheriff as well and says, you know what, I'll make you look good in the newspaper if you can help prolong this rescue effort as well. So essentially, Chuck is trying to get everything to work his way. So Leo also has a wife as well, who doesn't seem to particularly care that her husband is trapped inside this cave and may possibly die, because she doesn't really like where they live. They run a business which isn't making very much money, but all of a sudden when Chuck puts this story of Leo being trapped underground into the paper, suddenly loads of tourists flock to this area and it becomes this really big news story. So Leo's wife ends up making lots of money from this, and her business is going really well as well. So what this story really does is it just deals with the idea of the media perhaps not telling the truth entirely about a story and trying to take advantage of people. And this was the first time that I'd seen this film, and going into it I didn't particularly actually know what it was about, simply because the title Ace in the Hole, I didn't really know what it meant. It turns out Ace in the Hole is a phrase which is used in a card game, obviously the ace playing card being face down, but at the same time the phrase ace in the hole is also relevant to this film because Chuck Tatum, he has an ace, which is a great story, and also it's in the hole, which is with Leo being trapped down in this hole in the ground. So that's where the title comes from. This film did remind me quite a lot of the film Network, which came out in the 70s, and that film deals with a TV network taking advantage of their news anchor just to get higher ratings. In this film, it's more to do with the media, one person in particular involved in the media, I suppose, taking advantage of somebody to make a big story while also at the expense of that person or the victim, in this case Leo, being trapped underground. It's portrayed so well, and I've found that Billy Wilder is one of those directors who is very diverse in the tone of his films, because I've seen some of his films, they're very sort of fun and funny and light-hearted. So one's like Some Like It Hot, for instance. That's a very funny film, very easy watch. And also The Apartment as well with Jack Lemmon. I really like that one. But this film, it does have quite a dark theme, and it came out only a year after Sunset Boulevard as well, which I suppose is one of those films which takes a bit of a darker turn in it. And also another film by Billy Wilder is The Lost Weekend, which is quite a depressing watch as well. But this film, although it does have a dark tone to it, it's such a fantastic film. I was really impressed by it, and I think Kirk Douglas gives an absolute great performance here. Him portraying Chuck Tatum excellently. I think Chuck Tatum's such an interesting character. He's a guy who doesn't care about anyone else, is willing to, step on other people in order to get his way and, to make some money and just be on the front page of the paper as much as he can. And he's very controlling over everyone around him. He wants everyone to behave in a certain way so that his story is true in the newspaper. He says to Leo's wife, you have to pretend to be crying and be upset about your husband because this is the way that I'm portraying you in the paper. So overall, I think this is an excellent film, and it's a film that, lots of people will say hasn't lost its relevance. And interestingly, it was a film at the time which actually didn't do very well at the box office and didn't do very well critically. I think lots of people weren't probably interested in watching this kind of film at the time. But I think it's one of those films that, as time has gone on, certainly through the decades, it's been one of those films which people have become to appreciate more and maybe understand it a bit more. And in some ways, it was quite a brave film for Billy Wilder to do, because, it's certainly not, well, in a lot of ways, not the most happy and entertaining film, certainly for this time when you compare it to a lot of other films. But it's a film, watching back now, that I think I can definitely appreciate. Another thing I have to say is I really like the cinematography and the lighting, although obviously it's a black and white film. We do get this excellent contrast between the outside area, where it's really brightly lit in this desert, and then in the inside scenes, particularly in a cave when it's all dark, really giving this feeling of claustrophobia. And especially as we go through the film with all the tourists coming, we get this carnival event happening and all this noise which is in the outside area, and then we go back to Leo trapped inside the cave. It really is a wonderful contrast, and it works very well when put on screen. So overall, as you can tell, I really love this film. I really can't think of very much bad to say it. It was a great surprise, and I really recommend this film. Kirk Douglas is fantastic, and I'd also recommend many of other Billy Wilder's work as well. Billy Wilder, I think, is becoming one of my favourite directors, certainly from the classic Hollywood era. So I am going to give Ace in the Hole a rating of 10 out of 10. This is absolutely a fantastic movie, and I think really has stood the test of time very well. Bear in mind, this film is 70 years old now at the time that I'm reviewing this anyway. So yeah, definitely check out Ace in the Hole. So there we go, that is my review of Ace in the Hole. So what do you guys think? Have you seen Ace in the Hole? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Please let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.